Bristol, a city divided by postcodes asterisk. In Bristol, postcode rivalries have fueled a devastating cycle of violence, turning everyday streets into battlegrounds. This is the heartbreaking story of Max and Mason, two teenagers with no ties to the ongoing conflict, whose lives were tragically taken because of a fatal mistake. On January 27, 2024, a 17-year-old boy was driving through Bristol in his Toyota Aygo with friends, simply trying to get to McDonald's. A wrong turn led him onto an unfamiliar street, where a masked teenager suddenly appeared and flagged them down. Cautiously, the driver lowered his window, but what followed was a brutal assault. The masked attacker, armed with a Rambo-style knife, smashed the car before stabbing the driver repeatedly, severing tendons and causing serious injuries. The attacker was later identified as Josh, a 16-year-old deeply involved in Bristol's postcode war. The violence didn't end there. That same day, Josh and his gang provoked their rivals, prompting a swift and violent retaliation. Rivals stormed the home of one of Josh's associates, smashing windows with bricks and injuring an innocent woman inside. What started as street warfare had now invaded private homes, endangering ordinary families. Fueled by anger and a thirst for revenge, Josh, 15-year-old Kyle, and others including Anthony Snook, Kishai Westcott, and Riley Toweaver, prepared to strike back. Snook, aged 45, drove the group into rival territory using a government-funded mobility vehicle, meant for the disabled but now repurposed for violence. Meanwhile, close friends Max Dixon and Mason Rist were simply planning a quiet night of PlayStation gaming. Around 11 p.m., they decided to step out briefly to grab a pizza, a harmless decision that would prove fatal. As they walked, the gang mistook them for rivals. Snook pulled over and the teenagers, armed with knives, gave chase. Panicked, Max and Mason ran in opposite directions. Mason tried desperately to reach his home but was stabbed and collapsed just meters from his front door. Max, wounded, stumbled into the road and lost consciousness. Both boys were rushed to hospitals but tragically died within 15 minutes of each other. Police and paramedics arrived to scenes of devastation, while security cameras captured the chaos and terror of those final moments. The attackers fled, returning to a house already under police suspicion. Josh and Kishai were recorded calmly carrying weapons back inside, forgetting their actions were caught on their own CCTV system. Soon after, they tried to burn their bloodied clothes to destroy evidence. Shockingly, just hours after the murders, Josh and Kishai were seen eating a McDonald's breakfast, showing no remorse. It didn't take long for police to piece together the horrific events. The Audi Q2 was quickly linked to the crime, and within hours of the boys' deaths, armed police arrested Anthony Snook. Gradually, every member of the gang was identified and taken into custody. Inside Kishai Westcott's home, police recovered key evidence, a machete and bloodstained clothing bearing Max's and Mason's DNA. The CCTV footage was pivotal in proving the gang's involvement beyond doubt. Justice followed. Anthony Snook, 45, was sentenced to life with a minimum of 38 years. Kishai Westcott, 17, received life with at least 23 years and 44 days. Riley Toweaver, 18, was sentenced to life with a minimum of 23 years and 47 days. Kyle, 15 at the time, protected by anonymity, received life with a minimum of 15 years and 229 days. Josh, 16, received life with a minimum of 18 years and 44 days and separately pleaded guilty to the earlier stabbing of the Toyota driver. Bailey Westcott, 23, who attempted to burn evidence, was sentenced to 5 years and 3 months. Despite the convictions, the tragedy didn't end there. While in a young offenders institution, Kishai Westcott continued to show no remorse, promoting rap videos and allegedly boasting about the murders online, a disturbing reminder of the mindset behind such violence. Max Dixon and Mason Rist were not involved in gang feuds. They were simply teenagers stepping out for pizza, caught in a pointless war of revenge, pride, and postcode rivalries. Their deaths sent shockwaves through Bristol, laying bare the true horror of youth violence. Their families now live with a void that can never be filled. But through the pain, they fight to remember Max and Mason not for the brutality that ended their lives, but for the vibrant young souls they were. This is not just a story of knives and gangs. It's a story of choices, failures, and the innocent victims left in the crossfire. May Max and Mason always be remembered for their lives, not their deaths. Would you also like a slightly more condensed version if you're planning to use it for a shorter post or summary?